Mr. Anderson, welcome back. We missed you. V for Vendetta, released in 2005, and it's directed by James McTeague, who made his directorial debut with this film. And I am sorry, everyone, but that mask is coming off, because I am just getting over being sick, and I can barely breathe in that thing. It actually reminded me a lot of going to the doctor, and when you have a severe cough, they make you wear those face masks now, which is a good thing. Prevents, contamination and things like that. But it also makes it so the person that's using it cannot breathe, because now I'm breathing in carbon dioxide, and everything is going up into my eyes, so my heart rate is rising. I'm breathing heavy because I can't breathe with this stupid thing on. That is why I cannot wear this, so... But really, the people that are widely known for this film are the Wachowski brothers, who wrote and adapted the screenplay for this film, but they're behind the big Matrix trilogy. And this film stars Natalie Portman, Hugo Weaving, Stephen Ray, Stephen Fry, and John Hurt, based off of the critically acclaimed graphic novel by Alan Moore and David Lloyd. Yes, I know it's pronounced Lloyd, but I just like saying Lloyd. And the reason why I'm reviewing this because this was a recommendation from one of my friends, subscribers, one of my co-workers, Lucretia. Thank you very much for the recommendation. V for Vendetta. Oh, this brings back good memories. The year is 2032, and the United Kingdom has been swept over with a supremacist and fascist government. It's a police state now where people have curfews, and everything related to news and medicine is all controlled by the government. And if there is any type of uprising or any type of outcry at all, those people are quickly silenced. Until a masked individual wearing a Guy Fawkes mask comes out and promotes anarchy and liberty for its inhabitants. And I remember watching this film in theaters when it came out thinking, yep, this is in direct response to 9/11. Yes, even though this film and its source material is based in the United Kingdom, this whole story, or at least this interpretation of this story, is very American. V's whole mission throughout this entire film is to get support in blowing up the Parliament building, because his mindset is that this country does not need a building right now, it needs a people. It needs hope. It needs leadership that promotes hope. And if you were alive at the time of September 11, 2001, a lot of people felt that they were moving towards this fascist regime where this all-controlling emperor was controlling everything. Conspiracy theories with 9/11 and the World Trade Center buildings all really has that representation here. Unlike the source material, unlike the original graphic novel, which was housed solely in the United Kingdom and really it was a response to Thatcherism, really, which I've only read once and it was a long time ago, but that's what I remember. But unlike this film version, which is very American, very in response to September 11th, it's a big response to, oh yes, we're going after terrorism now, which that did turn off quite a couple of people, including Alan Moore, who created this entire story. Before this, he had some of his works like From Hell and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen adapted to screen, and needless to say, those were terrible. So with that, he's like, no, I don't want anything to do with this. Please don't credit me. I don't want to see this film, just let me be, please. Which I think is a shame, because even though this strays from the source material in its tone, I still think this is a really, really solid film. It paints this world, this neo-Nazi, this fascist government extremely well. You see news reporters being fed what to say by the government, even though it's not correct at all. But it keeps people quiet, it keeps people in line. Yes, why wouldn't you say that? But the thing about people is that they're not dumb. People, they can be very smart, and they can tell when they're being bullshitted, so it makes sense why people started to get behind this vigilante wearing this Guy Fawkes mask who comes out of nowhere and says, hey, I want your support, because we all know that there's something wrong going on with this government, so join me a year from now, we're gonna blow up the Parliament building as a response to this government that we're not gonna take anymore, and we want our freedoms back. It's not the original source material, but I really like this adaptation. And kudos to Hugo Weaving for wearing that mask and portraying this character like actually live in this character. I remember the first couple times seeing it, I thought for sure that this was just a random person in the mask, in the suit. Hugo Weaving came in after and did some ADR, and that's how the film came out. But no, apparently Hugo Weaving did a majority of the acting here. Originally they had a different actor portraying the role, James Purefoy, I believe his name, but I think what happens, the directors were like, hey, we like this Hugo guy better, so James, yeah. It always sucks to see that happen to an actor, but you know, producers have the right to say, hey, we want who we want in these roles. And I love Hugo Weaving, his physicality and his voice work. It's super hard to do for an actor when you don't have a face. When it's just one solid face throughout the entire thing. You can't convey any type of emotion or any type of tone with your facial reactions. Everything is done through body posture, through hand movements, and through just your vocal performance. It's a very hard thing to do for an actor, and I think he pulls it off beautifully. And I think major kudos goes out to Natalie Portman. She actually cut her hair for this role, which is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're a female actor. Because stereotypically that's how, you know, a woman identifies themselves, is through their hair. Long hair represents femininity, and a lot of women identify themselves as a woman through their hair. So to take on a role that asks of you to have your head shaved halfway through shooting, I can only imagine how scary that is for a woman. But kudos to her, she took that #1 guard and did that to herself, and you know, bravo to her. Dedication, you know, and I love seeing that from an actor. Her English accent, not so much. Maybe I just didn't buy it because I know that she's American and I've seen her in several other roles where she doesn't have an accent. So her trying one here, it seemed very strange. Just another representation of me, of America, taking over the source material. But that being said, I do like her performance. Whether she starts out as this small, timid little creature and seeing her metamorphose into this character that is free of fear, that is free of worry, that is free of worrying about policemen or being caught. No, she's just a person now with no fear, no care in the world. You typically don't see that from female characters nowadays, especially back in 2005. Now, this storyline would have been saved for the badass male character, but I think it's lovely that we see it here with Natalie Portman. And her metamorphosis isn't sparked by pain or hatred. No, really what sparks this no-care attitude is love. And love through the little note and the little story that she reads while she's in captivity. Because when all you have is love, what care do you need? Ooh, I really like that. Moving on to this film's cinematography, I think there's a lot of interesting things happening. If you look very closely in almost every single shot, there is a little V somewhere. Whether it's a cut on your forehead or whether it's something that's happening on a poster or something that's happening on a screen in the background, there is a V everywhere, representing that this idea of anarchy and rebellion exists throughout this entire country. There are little tiny hints of it here and there. They're just looking for this inspiration, this symbol to rise up and to start rebelling. And that's where this guy comes into play. Little tiny details like that I absolutely love. When we get to the action scenes, which there aren't many, this is not an action karate heavy film. But when we get to them, you can tell that the Wachowski brothers had some kind of influence here. We get a lot of stylized martial arts, we get a lot of slow motion knife throwing, all reminiscent back to the original Matrix film. We don't get the famous 360 shot, but we get something close to it. And to be honest, it's almost jarring when we see it, because this story is so contained and it's about conspiracy theories, political thriller, and unraveling the threads, that when we get to this action scene, you go, oh yeah, that's right. This is a comic book film. It does lead to a nice solid climax though. However, if you have never seen this film before, I recommend please pay attention, because there are a lot of names of places and things and names of people that are said many times throughout here. And the first time I remember watching this film going, who is that? What are they talking about? Where is this? And they do eventually lead to exactly what these people are and where these places are at and what their significance is. The massacre at St. Mary's and Lock Hill. I'm like, these places I'm supposed to know? What the heck is this? Eventually you get there. So if you're going to watch this for the first time, I just recommend just be patient, you'll get there. But I think it's a fine graphic novel adaptation, updating it for its time, even though they were Americanizing it a little bit. I think the performances are great. I like what this film represents. When we get to the fight scenes, it is a little jarring because we don't have many of them, and all of a sudden just becomes this martial arts type film, which I think is what I was wanting initially from watching this for the first time, but then watching it as it's going through, I'm thinking, no, I want this political thriller. I want this to be just people talking. Still a fun time though. So I'm gonna give V for Vendetta 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
It's good. It's good.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part in my videos where I randomly select which movie I'm going to be watching next, so let's take a look. Wonderful! American Pie. Long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile. Yeah, this is not about that song. This is about some homemade fashion cooking. No, it's about teenage sex. That's what it's about. One of the classic teenage angst movies out there, one that I grew up with. Very embarrassing, I may add. I'll save that story for the actual review. But I haven't seen this in many years, so let's see how this holds up. See if it's offensive now. Let's see how controversial this film is. But I'm excited to check it out. Thank you very much, Lucretia, for the recommendation of V for Vendetta. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, please leave your comment below this video or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter. Leave your recommendation there, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a shout out here on the channel. And we are getting closer to reaching our goal of 1,000 subscribers on here. And remember, if we hit that, I'm going to be watching a film that I am scared to death of watching, arachnophobia. So tell your friends and family, hit that subscribe button. Let's really raise awareness for Caleb Watches Movies. But so everyone, have you seen V for Vendetta? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, please comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And of course, when you're done commenting, please like and subscribe to this channel so you know the next time I post my next movie review. So I will see everyone next time with my review of American Pie. In the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.